a quarter of all Greek Cypriots live in Britain. In London, the community gathers for a wedding of two British-born Greek Cypriots almost every Sunday. These weddings are important events for the community. The Greek Cypriot community are anxious that their traditions, customs, language are not forgotten.
You know, you're brought up in this country, you speak English to your friends. When you can't, you speak in English. There's hardly any people you speak to Greek. And when you come home, you just not get up for it. You just speak English. Of course, to me now, I have to speak Greek to her because she don't understand English.
My parents speak Greek to me and I answer them in Greek, but I say, I'm English, I'm born in England, don't want to learn Greek. But as you get older, you realise more that it is sort of your home. It's your parents' home. And if you had a chance, I know if I had a chance, I'd like to go and live out there, because it's nice out there. But I still think England is, it's where I've been brought up. I don't really know much more than that.
We want our sons and daughters who are born in this country to remember the ways of their parents. I write poetry to keep this tradition alive. Living and working in Manchester, I write about those things that are important to Greek Cypriots. I believe that the best age and the best picture you get of a place you live is during your childhood. And whatever picture you form in your mind during that period, that will be the best picture you will carry with you in your memories, of course, whenever you go, wherever you go. Γη που σε πρωτοφίλησα, που κάμα να αρκουήσω, στη χώρα μου το μπούφια και λείπω που κοντά σου, αρκίνεψα ποιον και γερνώ, πάει η ζωή μου πίσω, μαν να ξανάρτα αρκουιστός πάλι στα χώματα σου. Γέρασα, μαν έφυγεν η γλύκα του χωμάτου, θυμούμαι σε και τρέχουσιν τα σάλια μου και πάσιν, όπως που πρωταρκούιζα και που πρωτοπαρπάτουν, μα ξένο χώμαν έθελω νεκρόν να με σκεπάσει. Αν έχεις και παράπονο να μεν το φανερώσεις, να μου εγώ θα πρόδιαζα γη να σου συγχωρήσω, κάμε και σου το ίδιο να μεν με φαρμακώσεις που να στραφώ σαν το μωρό να σε ξαναφιλήσω. Γη που σε πρωτοφίλησα, μακρά σου αν πεθάνω, χάρις μου 4 φτιαρκές που το δικό σου χώμαν να έχω μια τσίπα σέβασμαν, τίποτες παραπάνω, γιατί και αποθανόντα μου να σε θέλω ακόμα. Here again with this poem, I express again the same picture I brought with me as a child when I left the village, as a young boy when I left the village. And I make a plea to that earth which I walked first, or I saw the sunlight first, that if I ever decide to return back, or if I ever find the chance to return, that land must not have anything against me, must give me absolution, must forgive me of all my sins or bitterness, and accept me. And I suppose it's myself I have to forgive for leaving a place I love so much. I was born in Liopetri, a village in Cyprus near Famagusta. It's near a famous holiday resort now, Ayia Napa. I was born in 1933. Of course, we had a farm with my parents, and when I got married, I was trying to start my own farm. That was our life. But the shortage of water, of course, it made it very, very difficult for me to carry on. And we decided that it was time for us to seek our bread and butter elsewhere. And we decided to visit this country. I was encouraged to believe I would find some kind of earthly paradise. I ended up in Blackpool working in a kitchen, washing pans and pots for the summer there. That was the greatest disappointment I had, and I left my wife and my child there. Yes. Coming to England, everything is blooming here. I would economize plenty of money very, very quick and go back home and live happily. Then I really started thinking for a way to express myself. And the very first poems I wrote, actually, it was about love. It was a nostalgia. It was a way that I felt that I left my family behind and my country. Χορκό μου που σε κουβαλώ, μητά μου όπου πάω, βρίσκεις με σου άμα χαθώ, μητά σου εν να κοιμηθώ, μητά σου εν να φάω. Έπιασα σε και φύαμεν και ζούμε μες στα ξένα, με δίχως τους κατακομμούς, τα κόμματα, τους σκοτωμούς, χτίζω τη σό για σέναν. Έχουμε φίλους άκακους για πάντα συντροφιά μας, τραουιστές και χορευτές, χωρατατζίες, δουλευτές, ζούσιν μες στην καρδιά μας. Μάρκουνται τα χαπάρκα σου και κάμνουν με κομμάτια, βγάλουν σε πας στο Γολγοθά να λιποτσί και λιποδά που χίλια μονοπάτια. Εφάντζιν τες ομορκές, πείσμαν και κακοσύνες, σερέτησιν και συντισάν, μόνο για την εκκλησάν, κολάτσα τους κυφίνες. Σταυρώννουσε και σέρουνται που γίνην το δικών τους. Η γλώσσα θανατώνησε, το σέριν μιζαρώνησε, σαν γέννησε χορκόν τους. Αχ, σίσε γη και ρούφαμε να με μετρώνει πόνη, τα μάτια μου να με θωρούν, να λείψω, να με πλημερούν χίλιο λογιό δαιμόνι. Χίλια κομμάτια κάμνουσε μαγιό κρατός έναν, σαν ήσουν να σε κρατώ, ως που λαχτώ και παρπατώ κι ας μείνω μες στα ξένα. Μια παροιμία μας λαλεί, γυνάτιν βγάλαν μάτιν, το μίσος κι η διχόνοια κόβκουν και τρώνε αιώνια που πάνω μας κομμάτιν. The Greek Cypriots especially, go for catering business simply because it's the easiest business to run with poor language and very little money. Thank God the British public are so helpful in this matter. They do try their best and they never take you wrong if you say anything bad to them. They realize that you have a language problem and they accept you. That is, I greatly appreciate it, and I found the British public very, very helpful from the day I arrived in this country. Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Bye. I enjoy hard work. I don't mind working hard as long as I'm rewarded for the work I do. I will feel very disappointed if I don't get the reward for the work I do. Yes.
See you, George. Lucia. Pantelis.
Yes. We brought from home a tradition and an opinion that if we go to church, it is something a Christian should do. Some of us We'll go to church because it's a place to meet other compatriots, and we talk about the problems we face in this country or the prospect we face in our own country. I think that the church has something to offer, and it is offering something in the communities. It keeps the communities together. Οι πλούσιοι γιορτάζουσιν και κάμνουν Παναήρκα, γιατί ήρθαν τα Χριστούγεννα, θωρούν των νέων χρόνων, κι οι πρόσφυγες ξυσπίτωτοι με τα μωρά τη τσίρκα, έχουν τραπεζομάντιλον την πίκραν και των πόνων. Φτωχολογιά, πόσον καιρόν να σε τσαλαπατούσιν, οι πλούσιοι τα κέρτη τους έχουν να λουαρκάσουν, να παν να φαν, να παν να πιούν, να πούν πως θα κερτούσιν, των νέων χρόνων που έρχεται περί του να μπαρκάσουν. Να ξυσπιτώσουν οι φτωχούς και εκείνους που χρωστούσιν, να αρπάξουν και να χαίρονται με του φτωχού τους κόπους, μα τις φουρτούνες του φτωχού έθελουν να τρικούσιν, πάμ με τους υπηρέτες τους σε διαλεμένους τόπους. Να μέθωρουσιν τα αρφανά και τους αδικημένους, να μέθωρου ξυσπίτω τους, ούτε μωρά τη τσίρκα, λόγων καλών να μέμπουσιν στις γης τους κλαβωμένους, να μέδουν μες στα χέρισα γραμμήν παλιοτσατήρκα. Έντζεν αλήθεια κι ο Χριστός γεννιέται κάθε χρόνον, τούτοι τον πεθανίσκουσιν, τούτοι τον αναστήνουν, για να γελούσιν του φτωχού να λησμονά των πόνων, σιγά σιγά κι έσω Θεός υπομονήν συστήνουν. Έσω Θεός, τούτεν έχουν καρκιά που να ραΐζει, πάντα θρήσκη και καλή άμα τους συμφέρει, μωρούι θεονίστικον που κλαί και μουγκαρίζει, κανένας τους εν άκουσεν, κανένας εν το ξέρει. Χριστούγεννα, εμπόριον, επίεν η λατρεία, μέρα της εκμετάλλευσης, όπλων της αδικίας, λίρες εκατομμύρια που δυο να κάμουν τρία, τούτα θωρούν οι πλούσιοι στο όνομα της θρησκείας. I believe in socialism. I think that if I say that I'm socialist, people might not think that I really say enough for socialism in my poetry. But we came to a country to better ourselves, to find a better position. Now, we have, in a way, to show, even to our countrymen, but to prove even to ourselves, that we have done the right thing. So, by trying to do the right thing, to prove that you do the right thing, you live a capitalist life, the life of a capitalist. It is something which you cannot, in a way, avoid. After all, if you didn't want to find a better life or a better financial position in your life, why did you leave your country then? Why didn't you stay there? You left because you had an ambition inside you to become somebody or to be somebody or to become rich, perhaps. Σηκώνουμε που το πορνό, χτενίζουμε και σάζουμε, πίνω το καποκόφι μου, quick, γιατί βιάζουμε. Παένω στη μαρκέτα μας, οράζω ό,τι χρειάζομαι και φεύγω για το μαγαζίν, quick, γιατί βιάζουμε. Βρίσκω κάτι παρέες μου, στέκουν και κουβεντιάζουμε, λαλώ τους, άτε πάω λάτς, quick, γιατί βιάζουμε. Κάποτε την Κυριακή, παένω και κλεισιάζουμε. Φεύγω και έμπιαναν τιερών, quick, γιατί βιάζουμε. Πάω σε κάτι night clubs, και barmaids κοιτάζουμε, μα πίνω μόνο ένα-δυο, quick, γιατί βιάζουμε. Παένω έσω για καφέ, κάθουμε, ξεκουράζουμε, μα γύραν τα μεσάνυχτα, quick, γιατί βιάζουμε. Πάω για ύπνον και έρχονται δουλειές, θυμοί, σεπάζουμε. Σβήνω το φως να κοιμηθώ, quick, γιατί βιάζουμε. Ορώματα, ένα σωρόν. Αγιάζω και κολλάζουμε. Γράφω τα ούλα ποίημαν. Quick, γιατί βιάζουμε. Ο Πανtelis Kakolis. Θα το ξέρεις από την προγραμμία, το άλλο στάδιο. I am with the opinion that living in a community, like the communities we have in England, a poet has to be a part of the community. And by this I mean that you share the happiness and the sorrows of the community as a whole. The problems which I would say that every one of us face. They are your own problem as a poet. You've got to take it up as your own. And when you express yourself with your poem, you don't only have in mind your own, yourself alone, but you express yourself as a media for the community. Our race, the Greeks, especially the Greeks, they do go back to the lyric expression when they want to express their deep sorrows or their happiness or whatever it is. This goes back to many hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Of course, no doubt.
And this carrying on now.
Yeah.
In Cyprus, if you remember, you must remember that the folk poets used to take the special events, special happenings of the time or of the day and make a poem out of them, write a poem and go to these festivals, as we mentioned before,
yes,
to sing them in that melodramatic voice.
Yes.
We are used to,
yes,
we used to hear in these festivals.
Stay there. Stay there.
Έλατε όλοι στο γυρόν κι ανοίξετε τα αυτιά σας, να ακούσετε εξιστορήσιν και να ράει η καρδιά σας. Έθελα την παρέα σας που της καρδιάς στο βάθος, όμως που σας ετάισα νομίζω κάμα λάθος. All kind people round me gather and lend an ear to something that is happening and all of you must hear. And I tell you clearly before it's too late, I have seen the lot of you piling up the plate. And you remind me a lot of some famous athletes. You could win every event in chewing up the cutlets. As you attacked the charcoal pit, I had to make sure that you would chew only the meat and leave the metal skewered. It's my pleasure, honestly, to have you all today. The only trouble is, of course, that I have to pay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for coming. Δυο χουμισάρες ράφτενες και νόστιμες κοπέλες ποτούντες μόδες καρτερούν και ποιον σαν πουν παρατηρούν βράκες και φουστανέλες. Όπως επαρατήρησα τα τελευταία χρόνια, για να κερδίσουν το ψουμί εμπά στη ραφτομηχανή μανάς με τα γκόνια. Κι αν τάμωσατες μια φορά που παίνει μια της άλλης. Πέ μου αλήθεια Ελενού, και έντια λαλό το κανενού. Πόσα ριάλια βγάλεις? Και γύρισεν η Ελενού με ήμισον αμάτι. Λαλή της θα έχω μισθό, μα κάμνω όσα χρειαστώ, γιατί με το κομμάτι. Παίρνω και λίγα έσω μου, τη νύχτα, εν τζαρνιούμε. Μαν και ρεσίζουμε παράν, έτω και εγώ καμιά φορά θέλω να αποσκολιούμε. Λαλή της και η Ανδριανού, και εγώ έτσι πιστεύκεις? Μα Ελενού, δείχνεις παστή, έντρωεις αμαγριαστή, ξαθέλεις να νηστεύκεις. Μα μπήκαν στο θέμα ποιον, ποια κάνει τα περί του. Πώς αν ακούσεις και να δεις, η μια εδούλευκεν του Κρίς και η άλλη του Χαρίτου. Η μια είπαινε γέμονεν τρισπύλιν την μπασκέτα και η άλλη πιάνει χοντρικά, φρούτα, κρυάς, λαχανικά που πάει στη μαρκέτα. Λαλό να πάω να τους δειχτώ κουβένταν πέχ και αλλάξουν. Και πως σταθήκαν, ποπατούν, και οι δυο λαλούσιν πως κρατούν ριάλια να πετάξουν. Έθελα να τους πω κοφτά σκασμούς, κανίχου μίσια, κανίχου μίσιν και φωνήν, κι όσον και βγάλετε ψουμίν, κι οι δυο σας ίσα ίσα. I'm not an exile. I am a self-exile. I just stay here because I created such an atmosphere, family and business. I prosper now. I'm quite happy, but it's nothing on earth can actually substitute for the love I feel for my own country. There are some of us who are exiles. They were forced out of Cyprus by a foreign power who invaded our land. Thankfully, of course, they found refuge in this country, but their hearts and thoughts are back home. I know somebody who is an entertainer, a very popular one in our community. He works in London. His name is Stelios.
Because I think in every Cypriot's mind, once you establish or you become to a standard that you live comfortably, I think everybody's mind is to go there and live there or retire there if not. So when I went there to work and I liked it and I stayed, in my mind I was to stay there. Around about 5 months just before the invasion, the Turkish invasion started, I started a nightclub, a family nightclub, you know, and it lasted about 5 months. I invested all my money there. Everything that I had, everything that I worked for, invested in that project there. You know, I bought a plot of land with ideas to build later on. And all of a sudden, you know, me not even being involved in politics or anything, I just found myself running for my life. The actual time, I was taking my kids down the beach, and I was with sandals and jeans and a short sleeve T-shirt. And all of a sudden you hear boomings and noises and things, planes, a lot, you know, hell breaks loose. So automatically, you know, I just drove home. I got my wife and kids, my 2 passports. And the only thing that came into my mind was to protect my family. You didn't know what to expect. It was so sudden, it was unbelievable. People were running in the street, you know, panic. Turkish tanks were getting nearer to Famagusta, and they were getting nearer and nearer, you know. And all the people grabbed something, whatever, you know, put it in their car, and they started going out of the town by cars, and you see big queues and panic and running everywhere. So I just grabbed the kids and my wife and back to England, penniless. I mean, you couldn't stand there and face a proper today's modern army with your hands, can you? I've written a song about it, yes. Which says what? Well, the song simply states a situation. It doesn't hit politically nowhere because, as I said before, I don't get involved with politics. I'm a music lover and my life is music. I like singing, I like playing. But this song is just actually I wrote the song when I went back on a holiday. And I went to the last point of where you can get nearer to Famagusta, you know. Let's say the border. To me, there's no borders. To me, Cyprus is one. But there is a section of guarded by, you know, Greek army. And then on the other side, you see the Turkish flag, which is a very sad thing to see from the point of all Cypriots. So I went as far as I could there, and I stopped there with my wife and my kids. And I even borrowed binoculars to see, because from there it's only about 2 miles away. And you can see the actual town there is a ghost town. You could see the houses, you could see the buildings, deserted. I wrote the song with lyrics like describing a sort of a sad, lonely town.
Περπατώ του δρόμου η άκρη είναι μακριά, θολωμένο δάκρυ, αίμα στάσει η καρδιά, μοναξιά είσαι απέραντη σαλήμνη, ερημός χωρίς σκιά. Μάνα εσύ έχεις τη λύπη, τη σιωπή για συντροφιά. Τραγουδάω για μια πόλη που έχω μέσα στην καρδιά. Τραγουδάω για μια κόρη χωρίς την ακρογιαλιά.
I ended up in Paddington Station with 30 pounds I happened to have in my pocket. So I had to start a job. So I went to this Greek nightclub and I started singing there. And I had to put my suit and tie my bow tie on and perform in front of audiences and put a big smile on. Try and force a smile as much as I could. Then when I used to finish my songs, I used to go behind the changing rooms and just sit on a chair sad and start crying. In other words, you have to put your courage back and go there for half an hour and perform and sing and show happiness and make people happy. And inside you, it was a terrible burning feeling of why, you know?
They did invade Cyprus. They spread destruction and death. Half the island was occupied by their forces. About 1,600 people are missing, unknown. Nobody knows what's happened to them. Still, until this very day. 200,000 people have been thrown out of their villages, the properties and the villages which they grew and they had their roots in for generations, for centuries. They have been thrown out and now they live, until this very day, they are refugees in their own land, in their own country.
Η μόδα η τωρασινή που πιάνουν οι ανθρώποι έρχεται να έχουν αντροπή, μα φαίνονται σαν άπρεποι ποιον οι καλοί μας τρόποι. Σαν να θυμούμε καταρκάς που φύναν τα μαλλιά τους και χώναν τα ζυνίσια τους, βρίσκαμε τα ίσια τους, παίρναν η δουλειά τους. Μα τούν τη μόδα που κρατούνε μυαλόν το κακόν τους, εφήκασαν τα περσινά, τώρα κάνουν τα περμανά ως είναι φυσικόν τους. Σαν παρπατούν και κλώθονται, ποια η εμπιστοσύνη, πολλοί λαλούν είμαι κακός. Μα ξέραν ένα τσινικός ή ένα δεσποσύνη. Έρχονται κατά πάνω σου κοπέλες και κοπέλια, με τα σκολαρικούδια τους, τα περμανά μαλλούδια τους, θωρείς τους μοιάζουν τέλεια. Μα πια όλοι έχω άδικο. Πού πατούν το κυλίκι, με μόδες και ποδιάν τραπιάν, έκαμασαν την ανθρωπιάν στον κόσμο ρε ζηλίκι. Εν και λαλό πως έμπρεπε της μόδας να κλουθούμε, Αμα για όνομα Θεού, και ό,τι καπνίσει καθενού τον τζιροφορούμε.
You know, you go according to the rules and the laws of the country, but your parents are Greek. Okay, you were born here, but your mother, your father is Greek. So why not know your roots? Why not know where you come from? Why not know what your language is?
Thank you, darling.
Away from my parents, in a strange foreign land, my heart feels so bitter, having not a helping hand. In a bed of bitter pain, my heart melts with grief. My soul and my mind cannot find a relief. And my parents' anguish is choking their breath, but I utter no word and await death. Bitter anguish for parents that can see no real hope. They offer me a tear and a prayer to God. They pray for a cure, but the future is so grim. Oh, my Lord, take me to them, even in their last dream.
The family links which we have in Cyprus are a lot stronger than here. If a family has, for instance, say 2 or 3 children, and they grow up under the protection of their parents, they will get married, they will do their own life, but they will still be under the protection of their parents. And one day, the parents become under the protection of their children. They rely actually on the protection of their children. Their children are the ones who will look after them on their old age. I think this is nice to know. It's a kind of security. No parent would agree for his children to feel any different than he does. But for their benefit and for their own good, I am quite pleased to find that they do have their own opinion about this country and about my country, and they are trying to make the best of what they can where they are now. Get as much education as they can and do business as good as they can in this country, because they, in a way, they are now forced to live in this country. That is, whether we like it or not, especially after the events of 1974. I think that a great number of us are forced to be here, whether we like it or not. Unfortunately, a lot of us want our children to grow up the way we did at home, but that is very, very unreasonable, and we are not doing any good to our children. That is why a lot of families split up. As soon as they have a teenager in the family, you will see that the majority of families do split up. Simply because the parents are not willing to accept the life the youngsters do in this country. But the fault, I believe, is on the parents, is not on the children, mainly on the parents, because the parents refuse to accept even the slightest change of the life they knew 30 or 25 years ago when they left their country. But if they go back, they will find that that life they lived is not there anymore. It has changed, but they just refuse to accept it, to accept that change here.